Hey guys.
Can you talk a little bit about just your defensive line and how it's looked maybe through the first 4 or 5 practices? I guess you guys are 4 or 5.
Yeah, a lot of learning, a lot of guys getting better. The thing that I feel pretty good about with this group is both at the end and the tackle spot, there's some depth, and we're able to rotate guys around. More depth than we've been able to have really over the last couple years. It still is playing itself out in terms of who's going to be with the first group, second group, third group, but I feel comfortable that at the end of the day we're going to have 6 or 7 guys at each spot. They're going to be productive players for us.
How do you bring Randy along, knowing that he wasn't here in the spring, and he's a guy that you want to get on the field, obviously?
Quickly. No, I mean, there's really no time to waste. From the time practice start, August 5th, to the first game is obviously under 4 weeks. So every day counts for him. Whether it's in the meeting room, on the practice field, there isn't time to waste. Whether it's me or Coach Kaczynski or Coach Pelini meeting with him one-on-one to catch him up to speed, that's what we got to get done. But we'll find a way to get that done, obviously, over the next 4 weeks. Time won't be a factor.
How is he adjusting?
Well, I mean, he's been very productive over the first 4 days. But there's still a long way to go. But he's been good.
Why is there such a sense of urgency with that one particular player?
Because he's good. I think obviously the sense of urgency in some respects comes from us, but I think in other respects he was a very highly recruited guy. So I think outside of these walls, people are excited to see what he's all about, and obviously for us, we're excited to see him too.
Can you kind of use that Levante David model with him, because he wasn't here for a spring? You got him on the field right away as well.
True, and really with Levante, it wasn't until about, I would say, the 5th or 6th game of the year where he was really comfortable with what we were doing. Now, granted, he was a linebacker and a Mike linebacker who had a lot more on his plate than Randy will have. But so I'm hoping the learning curve isn't quite as steep for Randy.
In the interior spots, you've got a lot of guys. You've got some seniors. You've got some freshmen. What do you see so far in that mix of players?
Well, I think Thad Randall so far has had a good camp. He's been a leader. He's been energetic. He's played hard. He's been healthy to this point, knock on wood, and I feel good about where he is. Then behind him, I think there's a group of guys who are battling to see who's going to line up maybe in that other spot next to him. I think so far, Aaron Curry, Kevin Williams, Vincent Valentine, Malik Collins, Kevin Maurice, and Broderick Nickens have all had opportunities to run with that first group. We're kind of cycling them through. We're getting everybody reps. We're letting the competition and what we see on film allow us to dictate who's going to play. I tried very hard not to come in this year with any preconceived ideas of who our best players were going to be, because there were so many guys we didn't know a lot about. So it's time for us to evaluate and make sure that we're obviously giving everyone an opportunity that deserves to be on the field.
Was Malik back today at practice?
Malik was in practice today, yes.
Was he there yesterday too?
He was there yesterday.
Bo had some pretty strong words for Vincent Valentine at Big Ten Media Days. Valentine taking that to heart. Have you seen him practice well?
Well, Vincent, like all of our guys, the longer they're in the program, the more mature they become, the more accustomed they are to what the expectations are, and he's been a lot more prepared for what he's got to be able to do coming in this fall camp.
Rick McMullen's such a big guy. I mean, he's big. He's a big end. What kinds of different things could you potentially do with him because of his size and I guess his agility?
Well, I mean, in theory, because of his size, he'd be able to move inside. I don't think that's part of the plan right now. Really, what he gives us is a big physical presence at defensive end that can play over a tight end and really control the line of scrimmage, which is something that we need as part of this defense.
JP, how have those linebackers looked 4 days in?
I'm pretty comfortable, especially with the returning guys. I think David Santos has had a couple good solid days. Michael Rose has had a good camp to this point. Zaire Anderson has had a good camp to this point. The young guys, Josh Banderas, he's still learning. Courtney Love, they're still learning. They're true freshmen, and they make true freshman mistakes, and that's part of our job, obviously, is to get them coached up, but it's also part of the developmental process that everybody goes through, and I think if they stay on track, we're gonna be fine at that spot.
What kind of desire have you seen out of Zaire so far, knowing how his season kind of ended so quickly last year?
Well, he came back, he worked hard to get back from his injury in the spring. He had a great summer. He's in much better shape because he was able to get a full off season of conditioning in. And, he's obviously come a far way in terms of his knowledge of our playbook as well. So Zaire so far has done pretty well.
With just 9 linebackers on the 105, how many more reps can you get those guys with the smaller number on that 105?
Well, in some respects that helps, but what always has to be kept in mind is that most of the time we're in some form of nickel defense, because that's kind of the nature of what we go against offensively. So that really only puts 2 backers on the field at a time as opposed to 3. So the 9 doesn't really concern me in terms of numbers, and it doesn't really stress us on a daily basis.
Is he still splitting time, and is he more at one position than another?
Andrew Green could probably line up and play corner for us at any point in time without getting a ton of reps there. Right now he's playing a lot of safety, but he will get some more corner reps as time goes.
Why did you want to look at him as safety or move him to safety?
Well, we don't have a lot of experience at the safety spot, and he's played a lot of football for us, and the corner and safety spot are always tied in together in terms of scheme. So Andrew should know what's going on at safety without even having to play very much safety. That's part of it. And the other thing is we have pretty good depth at corner. I feel good about Stanley. I feel good about Ciante. I feel good about Josh Mitchell, and I feel good about Mo Cisse, and I feel good about Jonathan Rose, Daniel Davey. That's 6 guys. So taking Andrew out of that mix didn't really hurt our quality depth at corner.
With the strength you have outside at corner, how does that impact the entire defense?
Well, it allows us to be a little bit more flexible when we play spread teams. There's a possibility when you play a team that has 4 wide receivers on the field that you will see 4 corners on the field playing a nickel on a dime spot. So having depth allows you to have flexibility in types of packages you put on the field.
Coach, I know you don't have a lot of experience, but how would you compare just the talent on this team, the defense?
I don't have a lot of experience?
No,
Right.
How would you compare just the talent?
I think in terms of depth of talent, it's as good as we've had since we've been here. I'm not saying that this is going to be the best defense we had, and I know sometimes quotes get misconstrued in terms of that. What I'm saying is athletically and talent-wise, over this year and over the course of the next couple of years, we're going to be an athletic group, and I feel good about the direction we're heading as a defense.
More depth.
More depth, more speed, more athletic. That's the way I would put it at this point.